You're skipping ahead.
God damn it. I do this every week.
Welcome to the Incoherent Fangirl.
Where it is our 100th episode, bitches.
What? That's wild.
Isn't that the craziest thing? We've
That's
done this a
crazy.
hundred times. Actually, you know what I was thinking about? We've done this 101 times because do you remember the one
One
time
time when it didn't record.
that it didn't record and we had to record that episode twice?
Yes, I was just
It was
thinking
like our
about that.
second or third episode.
It was very early on before we
Yeah.
realized that you could have Zoom auto record everything.
Yeah.
And when we had to manually hit the record button. Yeah.
I went downstairs to make a cup of tea and you had called me twice, but I had left my phone up here. So I came and got it. And you were like, you'd left me a voicemail and you're like, Mandy, everything is awful or something like that.
It was
This
so
is terrible.
it was awful. It was so traumatizing. Like, oh my gosh.
If only those two girls could see us now.
Right? My gosh.
Just saying.
That was when I was still recording in my bed.
And we were still recording on Saturdays.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Look at us
Or
now.
Sundays.
Look at us now. Anyways, I'm Karin from Roseman Street.
I'm Mandy from Roseman Street. Hey, neighbor.
Hey, neighbor. I was gonna pick something else, and I was like, wouldn't it be funny if we both were from here?
Yeah.
And look at that. Look at that.
Look at us go.
This is the second time today that we have had like this psychic connection. Third time, if you
Dude.
count this most recent one with the double episode recording. That
We're on
brain
the
cell.
brainwaves.
That brain cell's really working
It's
hard.
ping-ponging around. That's for sure.
Okay, friends, it's the sad time. In our timeline, it is October 3rd, and in y'all's timeline, it is October 11th. Yay, spooky season.
Ugh, you make me mad.
But it's spooky season. You love
It
it.
is. I'm wearing my Fantasy Girl fall sweatshirt.
I love it. I love it. This week in fangirling, what'd you do?
So first, I guess we should recap. I survived the hurricane. I'm fine. My home was fine. We were very fortunate in that we had like minor yard flooding. We for some reason we stayed in this like pocket of nothing really. Like you know how you'll see on like Doppler radars how there will be just like random patches. We were in those random patches and because of the way it shifted, we avoided a lot. We lost power for a few hours. A breaker did trip. We lost a freezer full of food because of it, which I don't care. Like
Yeah.
I'm not upset. Other people lost so much. All of our
Yeah.
breathers are okay. All of the heartbeats are fine. So we're very fortunate. Always thinking about the people who lost so much more than food. They lost everything and then some. So fuck you, Helene. We don't like you.
Not a fan.
So we jokingly in the South call them hurricane parties when you're just like waiting it out.
Mm-hmm.
So we had our little hurricane party that night just because we were scared to sleep because we didn't know at the time. So first I talked Josh into watching Practical Magic with me. So I'm just gonna give a rundown. I've watched several movies this week. I'll give a quick. Sally and Gilly are sisters. Gilly, I can't remember now, even though I've watched it 1,000 times. Born into the Owens family. So the Owens women are cursed. The men they love always die. Very early on, it happens to Sally when her husband is hit by a car. Gilly is the more wild, reckless sister. She goes on a road trip and she meets Jimmy. Jimmy is from ER. That's where I know him from. Every time I see his face, I'm like, you are on ER. He is really terrible. Jilly ends up in an abusive relationship and Jimmy ends up dead. So a cop, Gary, comes to town because he's been investigating Jimmy for years. And the Owen sisters panic because they're like, oh my God, there's a cop. And Sally has children. So they try to resurrect old Jimmy and accidentally possess his corpse with an evil spirit. So that's fun times.
You know, you're describing it right now, and I swear to God, I thought I had seen Practical Magic several times, but why is none of this sounding familiar?
I don't know.
This is wild. Like, I feel like I just have to watch it now because
You should, anyways.
I mean, you should anyways because it's perfect for spooky season, but I'm like starting to wonder if I've ever actually watched it. Like, I thought I
Yeah.
had. I think I own the DVD. So
Yeah,
It's
you're gonna need
very
to
weird that I'm like
rewatch because
not
it's a
not
cult
yeah.
classic. 10 out of
Yeah.
10.
Like I'm sure I love it, but I just am, none of this is sounding familiar, which is wild.
Weird.
Very wild.
So Josh kind of fell asleep because he's a boy at the end, but I'm just kind of watching the weather on my phone, trying to be mindful. And so it auto plays another movie, Death Becomes Her. And
Okay.
I'd never seen Death Becomes Her. So it's Meryl Streep, Goldie Hawn, and Bruce Willis. I think it came out in 1989. I think it was the year we were born. Like truly, it was either like 1989, 1990, something around there.
Right.
So I don't remember their names, so I'm just going to use the actors' names. Goldie Hawn and Bruce Willis are engaged, and she takes him to her friend Meryl Streep's variety show because Meryl Streep is like Sabrina Carpenter.
Okay.
And she's like, every boyfriend I have ever had has left me for her. So I'm bringing you now because I can't marry you and then lose you to her. So the next scene is the wedding of Bruce Willis and Meryl Streep. So this understandably, honestly, sends Goldie Hawn into a freaking mental break.
Yeah.
And she ends up in a psychiatric hospital. Years later, she returns looking 30 years younger than she is, radiant. She's got a best-selling book about being youthful, and she's like 50, I think. And so she invites Bruce Willis and Meryl Streep to like her launch event for this book. And of course, being a shitty man, Bruce Willis immediately is interested in her again as soon as he sees her because, not surprisingly, his and Meryl Streep's relationship is trash. Because like her looks fade over the years.
Right.
She was Sabrina Carpenter, but when Sabrina Carpenter's 50, she's gonna look like she's 50.
Right.
Like that's just natural. So Meryl is a star. She's obsessed with her looks and she's got to find out what Goldie's secret is. And she ends up finding out that it's a mystery drug that she can take. She's offered the same drug, and the stipulations are that after 10 years, you have to disappear from public life. You can fake
Okay.
your own death, you can retire, you can't be seen publicly again, and you have to take pristine care of yourself. Notable clients of this drug are Elvis, James Dean, Marilyn Monroe. They show them all
Okay.
at this big party. So Meryl takes the drug, instantly sheds 30 years in like minutes, and goes home to pick a fight with Bruce. Well, at the same time, Bruce and Goldie are plotting Meryl's murder.
Oh.
Because he's like, I want to be with you. You've always been my heart.
Ah.
I just made that one mistake, but I've thought of you all these years. You know how it goes.
Right.
So Meryl gets how do you look like this? What's going on? She ends up getting pushed down the stairs, and like it's obvious that she's dead. It's very 1989 CGI. So like I could handle it, but like her neck is hanging down her back and her limbs are just everywhere. She's dead. Bruce calls Goldie to tell her, he's like, hey, we don't even have to worry about killing her because she just fell down the stairs. And Meryl in the background is getting up because the drug kills you and makes you an immortal corpse.
Oh.
So things happen. Neither woman takes the best care of their bodies. And so like skin starts graying, peeling off, and you can see underneath it, they're gray. It's spooky, but it's hilarious. Like I'm so glad I sat up and watched it because it was funny. And like, honestly, that if that was 35 years ago, Meryl Streep doesn't age. Like I think she might've taken the drug. Goldie Hawn too. Like they don't age. They haven't aged. So then the next night we watched The Craft. So Sarah moves to LA since she's a teenager. She's immediately shunned by a group of 3 wannabe witches until one of them sees her practicing telekinesis. And then they're like, wait a second, she's the 4th that we need to actually get powers and be powerful and blah, blah, blah. So then she's immediately invited into their coven. She goes on a date with her crush, Chris, and afterwards he lies and tells everyone they had sex.
Men.
Frick you, Chris. Chris was skeet rich too, which really hurt my feelings because I love that man. I've loved that man since 1997 when Scream came out. Sarah casts a love spell on him and he becomes violently obsessed with her. Rochelle is the Black student who's a victim of racism. She casts a spell on her bully who starts losing her hair. Bonnie has a terrible scar from a really bad car accident. She casts a spell of beauty and her scars disappear. And Nancy casts a power spell and her shitty stepfather has a fatal heart attack. But all of this power goes to Nancy's head. Chaos ensues. And it's like dangerous chaos.
Oh boy.
It's still like a teen movie, you know, but whew, yeah, Nancy was dangerous.
Okay.
Then I watched Pride and Prejudice, the 2005 cinematic masterpiece. The original enemies to lovers. Mr. Darcy comes to town. He immediately calls Elizabeth Bennet not handsome enough to tempt him, not realizing he's within her earshot. One sister's in love with his best friend Bingley, but she's really shy and doesn't know how to display her emotions. So Darcy talks Bingley out of proposing to her because he's like, she doesn't really like you. She's just not that into you. Elizabeth hates him for that. Things happen. Darcy proposes, and Elizabeth is like, girl, I'm gonna laugh in your face. Do you know what you did to my sister? Like, my favorite person in the world is my sister, and you
Right.
just ruined like her being in love. Anyways, Bingley returns. Darcy fixes a lot of things he didn't break, does things he didn't have to do. They realize they're in love. The hand flex, the chest hair, the cape billowing in the freaking morning field. What could be better? It did make me wonder, and I posted on this on Threads, why we don't have a romantasy retelling of Pride and Prejudice with wyverns and political intrigue and magic and Fitzwilliam Darcy's shadow daddy. But I got a lot of good recommendations that I'll
I
have to
saw
fill you
that.
guys in on. I got to report back because some people have done some things
Mm-hmm.
that I needed. I'm still working on Angels and Exorcists. I've got a lot this week. I'm sorry. All my movies. We talked about it last week. Miriam is demon kissed, lives with her godfather, Zach. Peter moves in next door and he is cute. They have a semi awkward meet cute where a stray demon comes in to the bar while Miriam's band is playing, accosts her in the fray. Peter is knocked over. She's like, let's go. Let me help you up. What's going on? Well, then he has to leave really fast because his mom is there to give him his sister's bag. So give him her bag, who he finds has snuck out to ghost hunt in a haunted hospital that's abandoned. And when she comes home, she brings a demon Duke of Hell along. So that's a great idea. Miriam is demon kissed, and maybe the one thing that this Duke is looking for, like, could she be a key to unlock hell for him? We'll see. I haven't finished quite yet. We have been really busy, so I normally clean on weekends. And so I finally did a deep clean of my house. And while I did, I listened to an audiobook that I think you've read, but I think it's been a few years. So I'm gonna retell the listeners. It's This Vicious Grace by Emily Thied.
Yes.
So it's very similar to if From Blood and Ash and Shatter Me had a baby. So Alessa is blessed to be the first Fenestra. She's a powerful, God-chosen protector of Severio from a horde of demons coming to destroy the island and everyone on it. Her power is to magnify her partner or her Fonte's power. But unfortunately for everybody, Alessa's skin is deadly and she's married and killed 3 Fontes so far. There's an assassination attempt on her life. So Alessa goes to the seedy underbelly of Severio because she's like, my guards obviously aren't protecting me and they are being paid by someone else. She finds and hires Dante as her personal bodyguard. So Dante is a trained fighter. He has his own secrets. It's a romantasy. You can imagine where that leads. I have the sequel, This Curse Light, on Libby. I've just got to get to it because This Vicious Grace ended on a cliffhanger that I'd like to see what's happening with everybody.
I never finished that series. Not because I
Yeah.
didn't want to, but like I finished the first book and then I was waiting for the second book for too long.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, wait, I
I'm
might
gonna read
have
it
to
soon.
start over.
Yeah. It was a good one
It's
for
good.
deep
I
clean. I
liked
was
it.
cleaning bathrooms. I was vacuuming. I was doing all
Yeah.
of the stuff around the house, and it was like it got me through that.
Yeah.
Then it's a new month, new Libra.fm ALCs. So the first one I'm going to list, or I'm in the middle of now, is If I Stopped Haunting You by Colby Wilkins. So we have Penelope Skinner. She may have thrown a book at Neil Storm at his head.
She probably had a good reason.
In her defense, he deserved it. She's pretty sure. So she's a debut author and he is a best-selling horror author. They're on a panel together and Penelope can't stand another minute of hearing Neil talk. He's talking about his novels and how he claims that they break these native stereotypes when, in her opinion, they're written for basically for the white gaze. They're
Mm,
written to pander to woke white women's palates and not actually breaking any stereotypes. They're very rounded at the edges and not sharp like he thinks they are. Penelope is biracial. She's part indigenous and part white and feels like she isn't taken seriously as an author because of that, because of being a woman, where Neil, who's an indigenous man, is. She knows her writing is better than his. Why does he keep getting publishing deals? And
mhm.
she's overlooked. So they have like a little back and forth where she kind of calls him out publicly in front of everybody at this panel. She goes to leave and he says one more thing and she just hauls off and throws that book at his face. And she hits him too. Get it,
Good
girl.
girl.
She's, of course, immediately removed from the event and becomes like a pariah in the publishing world. Nobody really wants to do anything with her. So a few months later, Penelope's friend invites her on a writing retreat at a castle in Scotland. Like,
Okay.
who's saying no to that?
Yeah.
Who is saying no to that?
Right.
She probably should have, because Neil shows up.
Ugh. Neil.
Unbeknownst to Penelope, Neil hasn't been able to write a word since their altercation. Since her verbal lashing, it kind of like broke something in him.
Good.
There are things about his book, because there are things about his book that Penelope doesn't know. Editing and publicists and publishing houses all had a say in first draft and what's on the shelf. Now the retreat has started, and they've both agreed neither's going home. Like, I'm not leaving because of you. Although they wish they could once they realize that they're stuck in a real life haunted house. Real life ghost story, mega haunted castle, 300 miles to the nearest hospital.
Oh.
Like, they're in the middle of nowhere and they're already noticing how hot each other is.
Of course.
But what if what if they're each not as awful as the other thought?
Right.
Do.
Right.
So I've started A Captured Cauldron by R.K. Ashwick. More on that later. And then I just have one more quick thing. I went on my niece's field trip to a produce stand farm yesterday. And I have to tell about this because of a thing she told me. Okay. So my brother-in-law was supposed to go. He had to back out. Mimi went in his place. There was easily 100 kindergartners. It wasn't as chaotic as I thought it was going to be, but it was very cute. But my 1-year-old nephew was straight up not having a good time. Like, he wasn't fussy. He was just completely uninterested in anything. So there was this little, like, it was kind of like a hayride on a wagon through this little area that has like cows and goats and donkeys and mini horses and stuff. I saw little Sebastian. But as we're walking to it, my sister had my nephew in this big like wagon stroller thing, so she couldn't go on this. She stayed back. So my niece like takes my hand and we're walking and she says, "That's that boy who always stares at me and smiles. Don't say anything." And so I was like, I won't. But I asked her, I was like, why do you think he's staring at you and smiling at you? And she just goes, maybe he's in love with me.
I love her.
I was like, I mean,
so
maybe
much.
you're beautiful and you're smart. And then I'm saying all this stuff. And she was like, I don't want anybody to be in love with me. And I was like, all right. I was like, well, we have this, I don't know where it started. I can't remember where it started, but we always ask her who's her love of life, because it changes every day. And so I was like, who's your love of life? Mimi, as it should be. Don't you worry about these boys staring at you, smiling at you. If you don't want them to, growl at them. Hiss, start barking, whatever you want to do. Mimi's your love of life. And I'll stay that way. But I had to tell them, maybe he's in love with me.
Oh my God. I love
like
her.
My
so
girl.
Much. She's so funny. I love her so much.
All right. That was my long-winded week.
All right. Well,
what did you do this week?
I've got probably just as much, but I have notes, so hopefully this will go quickly. Who knows? Okay, so I finished Sing Me to Sleep by Gabby Burton. I actually restarted it because I was so tired when I started it originally that I couldn't remember anything.
Yeah.
So, Sing Me to Sleep by Gabby Burton. Saoirse Sorkova is the top trainee in her class and thus gets the honor of being one of Prince Hayes's royal bodyguards upon graduation. She turns it down, but then a blackmailer threatens her little sister and she decides to accept the position, much to the delight of Hayes, who is infatuated with her from the get-go. While Saoirse is trying to find her blackmailer, Hayes and his guard, including Saoirse, are trying to find a serial killer in the kingdom. The problem is Saoirse is the killer that they're looking for.
Oh, I love it.
She is a siren, and the royal family does not like sirens. They think that they have eliminated all sirens in their kingdom.
I remember you talking about
this.
Yeah,
and so she has been in hiding for many, many years. And so, things happen. This is book 1 of a duology, so it does kind of end on a cliffhanger, but it is a full cast of black and brown characters. There are twists and turns at every corner, and a forbidden romance, which may or may not be the main reason I returned for book 2. I mean, you can imagine. I read The Situationship by Abby Jimenez. This was the short story that was previously only available in the Target exclusive edition of Just for the Summer. It follows Maddie and Doug. Maddie is the best friend from Just for the Summer. Doug is the best friend from Part of Your World. And it is them meeting. She is a travel nurse who isn't ready to settle down, and Doug is the greenest of walking green flags. Love that man so much. It's a really quick, cute, short story about how they meet, and you can kind of see the beginning of what their relationship will be, and spoiler alert, what it ends up being in the end of Just for the Summer. So it's super quick, super cute. Double Pucked by Lauren Blakely. When Trina finds out that her boyfriend is cheating on her, she tricks him into leaving their shared apartment under the guise of, I need to take some time, I need to think about this, we can get through this, kind of like placating him because he's like, oh, it was just one mistake, I'm so sorry, blah blah blah. You know how it can be. And so she gets him out of the apartment, but she uses that time to pack up all of her things and grab the most important thing to her, the thing that she loves the most in the world, her adorable little tripod puppy.
Of course.
Of course, as one does. But on the way out, she also swipes the thing that her ex loves the most, which are his VIP tickets to a hockey game that includes a meet and greet with the star players of the two opposing teams that are playing, Chase and Riker, who also happen to be childhood best friends. So Trina uses these tickets and goes to this game and does the meet and greet. And it turns out to be quite the VIP experience because she finds herself in bed at the end of the night.
Oh.
With both of them.
Great, you say?
Yeah. And for romance reasons, Trina and Riker end up moving into Chase's house for the week. And as you can expect, things happen. Trina ends up having to pretend to be Chase's date to his cousin's wedding because his cousin keeps trying to hook him up with people. Meanwhile, she's working behind the scenes to kind of rehab Riker's like grumpy image. Like he is not very popular with the general public, so she's like behind the scenes like, well, what if we did this and you just took pictures, I take pictures and we'll post it to social media. Like, you're already doing these things, like you're buying books from a local indie bookstore to donate to the library, like why not just take pictures of that and post it? Like, you're not doing these things for your image, you're actually just doing them for yourself, but if it helps your image, let's do that.
Why not? Yeah.
And so romance things happen.
Yeah.
Angels and Exorcists by Finley Ray. We have talked about this. You just talked about that. I finished it. It was lovely. I need book 2 immediately. The Game Changer by Lana Ferguson. You've got Delilah Baker, who is the darling of a local cable network with her own show. Ian Chase, who is dealing with a public breakup PR nightmare. They have been friends since childhood. He was her first crush. He is also her brother's best friend. Their respective teams decide that they can help each other out. Delilah will rehab Ian's kind of bad boy image because of this very public breakup, while Ian will bring the hockey fans to Delilah's viewership, and thus making it worthwhile for everybody involved, and romance things happen. I'm going so quickly. I'm so proud of myself. Okay, Finley Donovan, Jumps the Gun by Elle Casamona. It is book 3 of the Finley Donovan series. Finley is a single mom and an author who was accidentally mistaken for a hitwoman in book 1, and things have kind of spiraled since then. This is book 3. This book has her and her partner in like accidental crime Vero attending a civilian police training academy for the week while dealing with mob boss Felix, who is breathing down their necks about finding their competition, aka an actual contract killer. Meanwhile, Finley has revisions due for her latest book, and she has writer's block galore. She has an ex-husband who wants her back and is doing what he can to make that happen, and she's not about that. And then there's also the hot cup that she can't stop thinking about. Things happen. Oh. It's great. And then Veronica Ruiz Breaks the Bank, also by Elle Casamano, is a novella in that same series, which follows Vero, Veronica Ruiz, who is Finley's partner in crime, and how she kind of ended up becoming a part of Finley's life, with also a little sneak peek as to the relationship of Vero and Javier, who does show up in book 3, which that better get developed more because there's so much tension there. George Bailey is very, very into this. So
first, you said there was a tripod puppy, and he came up because he was like, y'all don't love him more than me, do you? But then the dogs barked downstairs, and it woke him up. It's okay.
It's okay, buddy. Okay.
Okay, bye.
A Captured Cauldron by R.K. Ashwick. More on that in a moment. And finally, An Ember in the Ashes by Sabatier. You've got Laya's brother, who gets taken by the kingdom. He's arrested for treason, and she finds herself looking for the resistance in order to get them to help her get him out and to save his life, essentially. Meanwhile, the resistance is like, well, if we're going to do this for you, you got to do something for us. So they send her undercover as a slave for the commandant. And so the commandant is like, I want to say kind of like the general of everything, all the army people. So who is also Elias's mother. Now, Elias is a soldier for the kingdom, but all he wants to do is desert. He wants to leave. He wants to have his freedom. He does not want to be there. He is not enjoying himself. That is all he wants. And he is on his way to leave when an augur, which is kind of like their immortal seer kind of type people, named Kain, stops him and he tells him, hey, you'll actually get true freedom if you stay. And so Elias is like, not sure about that, but he ends up staying. Turns out Elias has been chosen as one of the 4 competitors in this tournament to find the next emperor of the kingdom. And it is real bad because he's going up against his best friend, his very best friend since childhood, as well as like their like mortal enemies who have been giving them hell for years. And so that's a fun time. And Elias is like, how is this gonna get me freedom? But Kane's just like, trust the process. And he's like, I don't know about this. Anyways, all of this is happening while Lia is working as a slave and trying to like glean secrets by like sneaking around and all of that stuff within the commandant's circle to help the resistance help her get her brother out. But nothing is quite as it seems. There are people who know secrets that they shouldn't know. There are people who are providing secrets that they shouldn't be providing. There are people doing things that they shouldn't be doing. And it's just chaos. And it's just like, oh my God. Oh my God. This is book 1 of 4. So I'm very stressed out. It is, and this is the same universe that Sabatihir's latest book, Air, is set in the same universe.
I have the audiobook for that.
It's like a spin-off series. And since I will be meeting her next week, I was like, I should probably read this series. It's been on my list forever. So here we are. And that was my week. Look, I did it. Oh,
we and busy weeks.
Agatha All Along.
I didn't watch it yet, so you can't talk about it. Sorry.
I'm dying because
out of all the things I did watch, we didn't watch Agatha.
Episode 4. Oh, okay. Anyways, that was my week.
Do you have a fictional boyfriend this week?
I picked a fictional couple. I picked Doug and Maddie from The Situationship. Like I said, Doug is the greenest of green flags. I love this man so much. He is like so awkward when you meet him in part of your world, but then as you like learn about him as a person, it's just like, I love this man. He's so sweet. Yeah. And he's a veteran, so he was in I want to say Army, but maybe Navy. I don't remember. But he was a medic. Yeah. And so he has PTSD from that. Mm-hmm. And so he just kind of lives on a farm and has like multiple side hustles. He's got a pig named Kevin Bacon, who is like the town pig and just wanders around. And he's got his like little Venmo QR code. Like you can send money if you want to take a picture with Kevin Bacon or whatever. And then he has like a petting zoo and he makes jams and just has all these multiple side hustles just because he's like, I just need to keep busy, otherwise my head is very loud. And Maddie is like, she's a travel nurse, so she gets it. And she's like, okay, this guy is like really cool. And also when they meet, she is currently like walking through the woods and finding little like penis drawings everywhere and just like following the penises, and he finds her. He's like, have you seen Penis Rock? And she's like, excuse me? And that's, no,
I have not, but now I haven't lived.
Now let's do this. And it's adorable. I love them. They're so cute. So that's my fictional couple of the week.
All right.
What about you?
If I didn't say Fitzwilliam Darcy, I would sue myself. I've been obsessed with him since I was in high school. Yeah. I named my first MacBook Fitzwilliam, and I actually had a dude stalk my Facebook and pretend to be really into Pride and Prejudice to try and talk to me. He was like, he changed his like something on his social media to be like just a Mr. Darcy looking for his Elizabeth. And like it was very
Oh
creepy.
my God.
Like multiple friends saw this dude showing up on like commenting on stuff on mine and like they didn't know each other, but they knew him. So many of them were like, hey girl, block that person right now. That's a psychopath. I know this person, they suck. But yeah, tried to use Mr. Darcy to get to me.
How dare? How dare?
But he's our original, like, he doesn't change for her. He changes because she points things out to him about himself that are not good. And
Right.
he reflects and is like, you know what? Wow.
You're right.
You're right. I've got to reflect. I've got to learn. I've got to grow. I'll be back, girl. And he comes back in the billowing cloak with the chest hair.
Yep.
Good God. And then Dante from This Vicious Grace. We love a
Yeah.
grumpy but sweet protective king.
Yes. Yes.
I love him. My
Yes.
sweet baby angel.
Yes. I think I
With a
remember choosing him
backstory.
previously. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a little bit of a backstory too.
Yeah.
That's like, oh, my heart.
I like vaguely remember, like as you're talking about, I'm like, I vaguely remember these things, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
I can feel it. See, that's how he's imprinted on my heart because
Yeah.
I remember that I love him. So that's
Yeah.
how good he is.
Sweet baby angel.
That sound means we have an intruder alert.
It's our 100th episode intruder. This is
Yes.
so
What?
exciting.
This is
Yes,
our
this is our
100th
100th
episode.
I feel very special.
You
This is our-
are.
You are. You are. This is our 100th episode. This is your third time here. This is so exciting, y'all. We have R.K. Ashwick back. We're going to talk about A Captured Cauldron, which is book 2 of the Side Quest Row series. Words are hard. We get to go back to Rosamond Street. We're so excited. Yay. Okay, so as you know, we like to start off giving our listeners kind of the elevator pitch of the book. So can you do that for us right now?
Yes, so this is the sequel to Arrival Most Vile. In Arrival Most Vile, Ambrose and Eli were rival potioneers, so they owned potion shops directly across the street from each other. They ended up having to work together on a joint commission and ended up, spoiler alert, falling in love in the process. It is a romance novel.
Yes.
So in Captured Cauldron, it is almost a year after generally those events. PotionCon has come to town. It is a convention for all things potioneering. It is Ambrose's favorite event of the year. That's coming into town kind of right as people are a little bit worried about crime upticks from these underground crime rings throughout because of the city. And of course, there's a seedy underbelly of the city. And this is part of the blurb, so I'm not spoiling anything, is Ambrose gets kidnapped at PotionCon, the very place. He's like, I'm going to be fine, guys. Gets kidnapped by an underground crime ring who wants him to make this impossible potion. So you've got Ambrose underground trying to figure out how to get himself out of there. You've got Eli and Rosamond Street going on a potioneer heist rescue. And then you've also got, this is new for book 2, you've got Dawn as a third POV who gets a romance subplot of her own.
Yay. I love it
So
much.
I freaking love PotionCon. Okay, like I love this idea. I think it's going to be so relatable to readers. What cons did you like go to for inspiration, and like do you have a favorite convention that you've gone to?
I've never been to a con.
Really?
I'm so sorry.
You
Yes,
do it,
it's-
but you write it so
You
well.
did it so well that I'm like, I was convinced you were at cons
Yeah,
every weekend.
Right.
Dude, no, and I even cosplay too. I don't have a lot of friends who do like con circuits. And so I was never like, oh, just come with us and you'll like see how it is. And by the time I had really heard of like San Diego Comic-Con, which I'm pretty close to, it already gotten so big, like so stupid big.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I've never been to a con. I'm so sorry.
No, don't
No.
be sorry. You write it so
Yeah.
well that it was like, this is someone who knows
Who knows the
what
con
it's like
circuit.
at cons.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've been to several and you like are spot on.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
And you also do it in a space, in like, it's a very different space. Like they're in like, what is it, caverns, or like they're
It's like a big sinkhole that they've turned
Yeah.
into like an event arena, and so they've kind of like built walls and built like, what is that, Hall H for like
Yeah.
BCC, and they have like an artist alley, a
Artist
vendor's
alley and
alley.
vendor.
yeah.
Yeah.
You like
Yeah.
you nailed it. Absolutely. Like it is.
I am flabbergasted.
I am absolutely shocked because you nailed the con experience.
The vibe. Yeah.
I'm glad. Good. I love PotionCon. I wish I could just write the whole book about him just going to different things in PotionCon, but there wouldn't be a plot. And I felt that even though it's a cozy fantasy, readers would eventually want to
Touch
plot.
on.
want to do something, I guess.
Yeah.
So this one, it is a cozy fantasy, but this one is a little bit more like action packed than the last
A
one
little
because
bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
because you've got, I mean, you've got a kidnapping, we've got a heist him out kind of thing. So it was kind of the idea to for this plot line of Ambrose getting kidnapped.
I was telling a friend a couple weeks ago that I was a while ago. I was inspired by a Tumblr post that talked about mad scientists kidnapped by villains to make a ray gun or a death ray, a freeze ray, and they were like, why don't they just make like a ray gun that shoots confetti? Because the villain doesn't know anything about science, so the villain doesn't know what they're doing, and so why don't they just pull a fast one on the villain? And then I was like, oh, what would Ambrose do in that scenario? Wait, what would Ambrose do in that scenario?
Yeah.
And then I just went from there. And yeah, it did take some finessing just to make sure that there was real stakes to the kidnapping, but we didn't dwell on them. And so we're focused on other things in the book that are lighter and more like heartfelt, like Ambrose's ally that he makes underground, Ambrose and Nat. That is a very cute like mentor-mentee relationship that we focus on a lot in his chapters. And Eli and Rosamund Street, they're very much playing into their strengths when it comes to using magic devices to help out Ambrose and try to rescue him. And Eli is playing into his adventurer training that he has started since the events of this book. And so yeah, we're still trying to kind of keep it grounded in the world with the cozy characters and not keep it. It's not. I made kidnapping cozy.
Yeah, you kind of did.
It's the most Ambrose thing in the world to me that he would be the one to get kidnapped after he's got such disdain for like the people who are hiring bodyguards. He's like, really, guys, it's fine. It's Potion Con. And then he gets kidnapped. Did he fight you on this storyline, or was he like, all right, I'll get kidnapped for this one?
I didn't give him a choice. I was like, get him the kidnapping.
He's
I
like,
love
no.
torturing that little man. In my mind, he's 2 inches tall,
Yeah.
yelling at me like, "Don't you do this?" And I'm like, "Get in the microwave."
Get in there.
Yeah,
And it
I
also
love torturing
it made
him.
me laugh that like Eli too, he's so mad that he like does this is very early on, so like I guess it's a spoiler, but it's really not. He wants to go on like training and he doesn't get picked for an event and he has to like be a bodyguard at Potion Con. Imagine if he had been gone.
How much
my
And
worse
this
he would
happened.
be.
Oh, Jesus. He would
He's
be
already
like,
a mess.
Bite.
Yeah.
Taking the first griffin back to Rosamund.
What? No, hold on.
Oh my gosh. I feel like everybody would be collectively like, we can't tell. We have to get him back first. We can't
We
tell
gotta get
Eli.
him back before Eli gets back. Like
He can't know. He
about to be
can't know.
so bad.
Can you imagine if they just rescued Ambrose and they were like, yeah, everything was fine while you were gone, Eli. Nothing happened.
No big deal.
Right.
Yeah,
No big deal at all.
he would go on a rampage.
I love
Truly.
it so much.
It's
Like,
so,
I just
yeah.
am already like, I'm not completely done yet, but I
Yeah.
just keep picturing like if he had been gone, like he was so grumpy, but if he had
Yeah.
been gone, oh,
You do this thing, and I guess this is like slight spoilers, but like I get to about 50% of the book and they're like getting ready to heist, right? And I'm just like, we're only at 50%. I'm very anxious right now. Like, wait, what's gonna happen? Oh no, what's gonna happen to my friends? Just like, but like you do it in such a way where it's like you expect something to happen, but at the same time you're also like, but also they could get out of this.
you're comfortable.
I realize that it's only 50% of the way, but actually maybe they do succeed.
You'll have to find out.
Yeah,
I don't know.
so how much so the last book was very much more focused on like the potion side of things, and now you have more of everybody's kind of abilities, and I can't remember, is Viola new?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I first introduced her in the short story Class of Cakes and Charms. She's the one who, and this is a spoiler for End of Rival Most Vile, but whatever. She is the baker who buys Eli's shop at the end of the book. So her name isn't mentioned, but like that's when she first enters Rosamund Street.
Got it. Yeah. So now we're starting to see kind of everybody else and their like working process. I just read the scene where Dawn is like making a wand.
Mm-hmm.
Were there, I think I remember you saying like you did some sort of like research into like the potion, like the elements of the things that go into the potions. What kind of research? I mean, it's a different kind of situation because, you know, wands and magic and things are not quite as real as elements of a potion, but like what kind of research went into kind of the things that they needed to do in order to be successful in their specific crafts?
Yeah, I remember getting to that chapter where I was like, okay, Dawn's gonna make a wand. How the hell does she make a wand?
Like,
Oh
how does this
no, I
happen?
haven't thought about this. I didn't really do any like carpentry or woodworking research because that's not the part of the wand that I wanted to focus on. I think I recall doing some research into like different kinds of gems and quartzes and how they can be cut and kind of what they're like meanings are, but not that that really like comes across in the text. It was really just something to like wrap my head around. And I was trying to think of like, well, what's a, you know, rather than her just kind of like regularly insetting the gem, like what's a cool thing that she can do? What's a more dynamic way she can make this wand? And so, yeah, beyond that, I didn't have to do too much just because that's really the main chapter where she like focuses on her wand stuff. But yeah, I guess maybe not as much as I had to do for potions.
Yeah.
At least when I was doing the potion illustrations, that took a little bit more research.
There's a secret kind of code in this book too. If people pay attention to
There is
certain
there
pages.
is.
Yes.
That
Yep.
is so cool. I'm not going to say what it is, listeners. You have to read the book and figure it out. But that's really cool and clever.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was fun to put together. I thought of that really early on, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be so cool!" And I was like, "Wait, I have to make a code myself. Why did I sign myself up for this?"
Like, oh
I
God,
don't.
how did they
Okay.
do it?
Mistakes were made. No, but I did. Once I figured it out, I did enjoy it, and I hope. And I think some people have solved it, and so I don't think it's too hard. I did have to run it by a couple people to make sure that it was doable, and I kind of decreased the difficulty. But yeah, I think it's fun. It's just a fun little thing.
That's a fun Easter egg.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay, so we got a new POV with Dawn.
Mhm.
What was it like delving into her mind since she's different from Ambrose and Eli?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a lot of fun, not only just being in her POV, but also kind of being able to explore parts of book one that she was involved in that I think she still has lingering feelings about. A lot of her kind of like burnout arc from book one, and she's still thinking about how she hurt her friends in that scenario and some of that guilt, particularly when Ambrose is now in trouble again. Some of that guilt kind of surfaces back up. So I appreciated kind of being able to explore that from her POV. And then, you know, I knew in book one that she deserved a love interest. And so
Absolutely.
I was like, yeah, she's gotta do this. But yeah, no, it was fun giving her somebody who could like match her freak, basically.
Yes.
Because it didn't make sense to do like an opposites attract for this because Dawn is so energetic and like bubbly. And so I was like, she wouldn't really date somebody who is like morose and like
Right. Just
depressed.
laying there.
So
Yeah.
she would date someone who has just as much energy and ambition as her. But I did give Rory fewer brain cells because that's
She got a few knocked out of her, probably.
yes, that's exactly what happened. She had a few knocked out of her over the course of her life, and so she kind of has a reckless Eli streak a little bit, which is always just really fun to write. Gets people into more trouble and then makes the story happen. So yeah, it was fun.
I love it.
So, did this story get, I can't remember if you're a plotter or a pantser, but did you have this story kind of mapped out from beginning to end before you got started? Because I feel like there's a lot of moving parts to it that you kind of really need to find a way to keep straight.
Right. I didn't, it took a while. I'm definitely a plotter. I've got like a whole like chart that I use. So I've got like, in order to keep all those moving parts straight. And so I've got like, okay, this is the chapter number. This is the POV that we're in. This is what happens. And then, you know, this is how we're moving forward. You know, there's like a column for Ambrose and Nat's relationship, Dawn and Rory's relationship, Eli's arc, which is kind of spoilery, so I won't mention it here. And then like, you know, who are we seeing of Rosamund Street, just to make sure I'm not forgetting about Sherry for 7 chapters, like stuff like that. So that can extend honestly pretty far. And then I try to fill all of that out before starting the draft. That took a lot of iterations, though, I will say.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
That's a lot to like keep track of. We had another author on recently who talked about they had to make like a encyclopedia just to keep track, or
yeah.
like a show Bible of how to
Right.
make
Yeah, I
sense
mean,
and
if you're doing
remember.
like a high fantasy that's like, you've got a bunch of different cultures and gods and locations and characters, like, yeah, I think you would need to make a wiki for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also have Xavion, which I feel like is someone we love to hate, but that we're going to hate that we love.
Like that, yeah. That feels very accurate.
Yeah, like we're
Mhm.
gonna be like, damn it, I kind of love him. Not gonna lie. So where did he come from? Like, did he just pop in one day?
Well, I knew Ambrose needed an academic rival, and Ambrose actually kind of mentions on his very first bookstore date with Eli. They're in the Eli drags into the like scientific journal section, and Ambrose starts ranting about this one person who like is slightly unethical with their methods, and is just like purely academic ranting, which is wicked cut off by Eli. But I was like, oh, I really like the idea of Ambrose having this kind of academic rival who very much stays a rival. And I was like, well, I really want Ambrose I love when Ambrose debates. I wrote a short story called Welcome to Potion Con, which is Ambrose's first potion convention. The first time he goes as like a 17-year-old, and he gets involved in a debate there and really kind of like makes a name for himself right away. And I was like, I want him to debate again. I like
Yeah.
that little man argue. And so Xavier kind of came out naturally from that, is they were a nice, neat foil. And I want to say that there's some stuff in what they mention that is foreshadowing for book 3.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we have to pay attention to them a little bit more closely.
Right. Now I'm like, wait a minute.
It's pretty subtle. I don't think you would be like, oh, I know exactly what it is. But I think once you know what book 3 is about, you're like, oh, okay. I can.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, speaking of book 3, is there anything you can say about it that's not too spoilery? Any kind of secrets that you can give us?
There's a couple things. So Capture Cauldron, it doesn't end on a cliffhanger or anything. It resolves nicely, but there's a very clear kind of hook into what book 3 could be about. And so without going into that too much, I will say that the merchants all need to go on maybe a quest of their own.
Ooh.
And so, yeah, maybe we get to see how they are thrown into the world of adventuring rather than just the world of shopkeeping, for better and for worse. So
I'm so excited.
very excited to write about them just like kind of like bumbling. Like they're not going to be perfect at
Oh my
adventuring.
gosh, I love it.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
this
I
is
kind of always
really
knew. I was like, I have to get Rosamund Street out of Rosamund Street
Yeah.
and make them all go on a little quest together. So this is like Sherry, Banneker, Grimm, Ambrose, Eli, Dawn, all like they're going on their little journey.
Oh my gosh.
And it's gonna be great. They're gonna make so many mistakes. It's gonna be wonderful. And then what else? It'll of course still be Ambrose and Eli's POV, but then we are going to add a third POV for a character that is introduced in Capture Cauldron.
Ooh, I like it.
Ooh, now I'm trying to decide which one. Oh, I'm excited.
That is so cool.
All right, we've got to jump to the questions that we always ask because we don't want to keep you too long. We have a segment, you know by now, called Fictional Boyfriend of the Week. Doesn't have to be a fictional boyfriend. Karen's had a fictional granny. We've had fictional pets. Do
Fictional
you
found
have
families.
fictional found families? Do you have any fictional characters that you're really vibing with lately?
Oh man, so I'm currently writing The Spirit's Curse, which is book 3 in my other series.
Yes.
And so the little fictional man that I am vibing with right now, as someone that I also like to torture a lot, is Demir, who is Emery's manager, who is always very like standoffish and like very just like competent, but tries to like act cool and tries to not care about things, but is actually secretly like a mother hen. He takes on a larger role in Spirit's Curse and kind of has like an arc of his own. He's very much kind of thrown into something from his past that he's just been trying to avoid, and he is a sassy little jerk about it. He's been a lot of fun to torture, just like Ambrose, and just like throwing in Xavier to just like poke. I'm just poking like a Demir again. He's 2 inches
You're
tall.
a menace.
I love it.
I am a menace to
love
them.
it.
Oh, that is
Good. More
wonderful.
authors should be a menace to their characters, I feel like.
Yeah.
All
The
right,
characters torture the authors enough. It's time to
Right.
turn the tables.
and readers and readers,
Yeah.
like we
Uh-huh.
gotta poke them back.
Yeah.
Fair play.
So obviously we have been and will continue to be recommending your books, and we love them so much. But we would like to know, what are you reading? What are you recommending right now?
Yeah, hold on. I need to look it up because I write down all the books that I read, and I know I just finished a good one, and I have a stack of
This
like
is
6 books on my
this is when
nightstand.
the like names of everything just
Yeah.
leaves your brain.
Yeah.
It always.
Okay, the one that I most recently read, which is I think it was Meg Tea Room's recent book club read, is The Spell Shop.
Okay.
Have you heard of
It's
that one?
yeah.
Sarah Beth Durst.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just read that one, really enjoyed it. Very cozy, very focused on like building up the characters in this like little village, and focusing on jam making and spells, and it's very
I love
very
it.
cute and small, and very like leisurely paced, I would say. And so I do recommend that for anyone who's like they just want like a cozy read.
Yeah.
Definitely that one. Also, I wish I had the book near me. The cover is like gorgeous.
Oh, it is so pretty.
Karen looks around too.
I'm like, hold on. I have it somewhere. It's literally in the other room. I don't know why. I'm like, oh, I have it. Yeah. Conveniently, this book that I didn't know you were going to talk about right next to me.
But yeah, I just read that, and then some of the books on my nightstand they're in the more cozy vein. So Honey Witch, The Marvelous Light, and what's the other one? Oh, I just had thought of it.
I hate when that happens.
The Phoenix Keeper. So it's about like a
Okay.
zookeeper for mythological creatures.
All books that are literally in the other room right now. I'm like, wait
Yeah.
a minute.
Yeah, I know they're all like well known, and I should have read them like 2 years ago. I'm just catching up right now.
Haven't read them either. And
Yeah.
actually, I think Phoenix Keeper and Honey Witch just came out this year. So you're like, good. You're fine.
Okay,
you get a
okay, I
pass.
feel better about that now.
Yeah, you
I
get
think-
a pass on that.
Yeah.
I think
And
I
Spell
keep
Shop
getting
came out
Honey
this
Witch
year
and
too.
House Witch.
So yeah.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
you're
You've
solid.
been writing, okay?
Yeah. 2 series.
That's
So
Yeah.
Got 2 series
I've been
going on.
reading.
okay, so obviously we've got The Spirit's Curse, which is that's the next book, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's-
so
so
that's the third
that's
one in the Lute Songs. That's the final one in the Lute Song. That'll come out May of next year. And
Okay.
then Draft for a Dragon will come out October of next year.
A Draft for a Dragon? Is that what you
Yeah.
said?
Mm-hmm.
You talk about that?
Yeah, we
So that's the third
That's
one.
book
That's the
3.
one after Capture Cauldron.
Oh,
Yeah.
we got a title.
Did we know
Yeah.
this? I didn't think I knew this
didn't know
title.
this.
This is very
Yeah.
exciting.
I think I don't remember. Do I have it listed in the back of the book? I think I just did. Before I realized that like withholding titles was a thing. Oh yeah, no, I guess I don't have it at the end of the book. I think I have it maybe in some other ones.
I was
But
like, I don't remember. I feel like if anything, I would have seen it in your newsletter, and I'm like, I don't think I've seen that. So this is very exciting.
Yeah.
maybe I haven't put it in there.
We just got it's
Yeah.
an exclusive.
Hey.
We've got it.
You've got it. Yeah, I'll talk about it more eventually. But
Yeah,
yes,
for
I am.
sure.
I'm working on that one now as well, and I am hoping. So yeah, I'm basically hoping to wrap both series next year.
That's so exciting. So
Yeah,
where are
and
you
I
in the-
love that you don't make us wait 100 years between books. Like,
I try.
great.
Yes. When where in the process are you for Spirit's Curse?
Spirit's Curse, I am currently writing. It's technically like a draft 1, but I did several draft 0s before it. I am trying to wrap that up in the next month or so to get that to alpha readers. And then while it's with alpha readers, I will work on a treatment for Draft for a Dragon because I have an outline for it, but that's kind of all I have right now,
I love that.
so, which is kind of scary in retrospect.
It feels so like feels so organized, and I'm like, that could literally never be me because I'm such a
No.
mess. But like, I love hearing about it. I'm just like over here, like giddy.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
well,
gosh, I
of
can't
course, now is the perfect time to remind you that you do have to come back. You're legally obligated for all book releases.
Oh no!
It's so terrible. We're so
Yeah.
sorry.
Hate it for you. Sorry.
Mhm.
So sorry. So we'll see you in May to talk about Spirit's Curse. It's so exciting. Oh, so fun. Oh my gosh. Okay, so when the book comes out on the 7th, right? If I'm remembering
Yeah,
correctly.
so it comes out as of this recording, 4 days.
Yeah, so by the time this episode comes out, it will be out in the world. So y'all go pick up A Captured Cauldron right now. It is going to look very beautiful next to your copy of Arrival Must File, which you definitely have after we talked about it last
I was going to say, I
time.
hope so, because I spoiled a bunch of things. Like, real sorry.
We've screamed about this book for long enough that if there is a listener who has not read Arrival Most Vile yet,
that's their
this is their fault.
Yeah. We have
this is your problem.
Yeah.
You don't get to gaslight us, listeners.
We have definitely talked about it.
Yeah.
You definitely should have already read it. So thank you so much, RK, for coming back and chatting with us. We're so excited for everybody to be able to read this book. It's so fun. Like you said, you made kidnapping cozy.
It's so cozy and so good. It's like going home with all your besties. Like, I was so excited.
I love going back to Rosamond Street and just hanging out with these people. Like, they're the best.
And we're still manifesting
I want to make a little mini game of Rosamond Street so people can go back anytime they want.
Yes, we're still manifesting that. Like,
manifesting that. I'm manifesting a show. All of it.
Yeah, we need
all of it.
All the
every
goodness.
bit.
Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It's always fun.
Always. You're welcome anytime. All right, we'll talk soon. Bye.
Have a good one.
You too. I love her.
I love her so much.
Like, what better person to be on our 100th episode than R.K. Ashwick?
Like truly, really, just such a vibe. Just perfection. And just,
it's always so much fun.
And it's like, it's not even just a milestone for us, like 100th episode, right? But it's also like her third time. Like, it's like one of the, like, I don't know, threes feel nice to me. Like,
I don't know that we've had anybody 3 times.
Other Amber?
Have we had Amber 3 times, or have we had Amber twice?
That is a good question.
Because that's who I was thinking of. It's between R.K. Ashwick and Amber D. Lewis on who has been on our podcast the most.
I know. Now I'm thinking about it. When did we first had her on for book 2?
2.
So that would be, but did we miss one because it was during a break? Is
Possibly.
The question. See? Oh, now we have to go back and look. That's a good question because I'm not sure. I think the only person who would be close would be Amber.
I mean, that just shows we got good taste.
Oh my gosh.
That's all I gotta say.
We do. We have excellent taste, and if y'all aren't taking our recommendations by now, I don't know what to tell you.
Then you know what else trips me out? Like, we've had a lot of people twice too.
We have
Hannah Nicole Mayer, Robbie,
Lauren Congesson,
Robbie Couch, Lauren Congesson,
technically Emily and Austin, technically,
Lana Ferguson.
Did we have her twice? We did.
I thought we did. Yeah.
Did we?
Yeah.
We did. Right.
We had her for the nanny and for
the fake mate.
The fake mate.
I was like,
yeah,
my brain is not working.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
How wild are we?
Look at this. 100 episodes.
100 episodes in. Who'd have thought? Look at us. Who'd have thought?
Oh my gosh. I love it. Now for an announcement.
Yeah.
For next week, we have, we were just talking about the repeat offenders that we have. We have a brand new author coming starting the next 100 off really great. Like, this is so exciting. I'm so excited.
The energy you guys are about to experience.
Y'all are not ready, and I'm so excited.
I'm so ready.
Y'all are not ready because the energy level is going to be through the roof next week. I swear. We are having Jason June onto the podcast. His next release, he just had a release.
I don't have my Kindle ready, but
his next release, it's not even the cover, is Flopping in a Winter Wonderland. It's a Christmas book. It comes out in November, but we're talking to him now, and it's just, it's going to be so exciting. I'm like, I love him. I love him.
Yeah.
He's just the best.
A dream.
Jason June is just, adore him.
Chef's kiss.
And just, I just imagine the energy already. Like, I'm already like, I'm hyped up. It's going to be great. Yay. So that's next week. And And now it's time for a spiel. Yeah?
Oh my gosh.
That's where we're
Yeah.
at. Okay, I do have my notes in front of me. Thank goodness, because you'd think I know this by now, but I don't. 100 episodes in, I still don't know.
I was in a meeting recently where someone was like, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, and I was like, started to put my hands up, like, you want to tell us what we need? Thankfully, we're cameras off.
I love that. That's so funny.
I was like, where is she going with this?
Hold on. Am I talking
Karen's
to Karen?
thing.
All right, friends. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, follow, and subscribe wherever you are listening to us. You can also follow us on social media. We are at The Incoherent Fangirl on all the things. Visit our website, theincoherentfangirl.com, where you can also stream all of our episodes as well as read our blog. Mandy wrote a new blog post.
What? Who is she? Who is she?
And
It's
what
been
is
like
she
6 months since I wrote a blog.
You know what? It happens. It happens.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on, okay?
Mhm.
There was a lot going on. So head over to the website to read that or any other of the reviews that are on there because there's a lot.
There are a lot.
If you are interested in early access to podcast episodes, full video episodes, and bonus content, head to theincoherentfangirl.com/Patreon to subscribe and become one of our patrons. If you're not ready for a full-time commitment, you can also purchase individual bonus content posts individually.
Hey.
That's a new thing on Patreon. So you could do that, or you can just purchase the
Subscribe.
collection of like if you're
Oh.
not ready. Yeah, so you can I didn't know this.
If you
but
don't
can,
want
if you're not
early
interested
access
in the full range of everything, you don't want a subscription or anything, you can actually just purchase individual posts, or I have it set up where I have a collection and it's just the bonus content, and so you can purchase just the bonus content.
very cool.
So there's options there now. So head on over and take a look. And speaking of purchasing things, you could purchase some merch from our merch store. Head to theincoherentfangirl.com/shop. There's lots of cute stuff there. It is self-care season, so you know
Yep.
that you need to be taking care of yourself, which I
Mhm.
mean, shopping is self-care, guys. So
Get that serotonin boost.
absolutely. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, suggestions, design ideas, or you want to tell us that we're pretty, we will accept all of that
Take it.
in our inbox, theincoherentfangirl@gmail.com. We love hearing from y'all.
Yes.
And of course, one last way to support the podcast is to rate and review on whatever platform you're listening to us on. Please give us your words.
You know we love your words.
We do indeed. She is at Mandy Perv on all the things.
She's at Ms. Made in China on all the things.
And once you have followed us on social media and you follow the podcast on social media, you can head over and continue doing your self-care by checking out our
Yeah.
internet besties. We love them and we love you. So take care of yourself. First stop is going to be herecomestenerd.com, where you're going to use code FANGIRL to get 20% off your first order.
Then once you've got all your pins and artistic goodies, you're going to head to onceuponabookclub.com. Now we have 2 codes. We don't care which one you choose. We love you no matter what, but they do not stack. So use either code Karin10 or Mandy10 to get 10% off, but you have to spell Karin right or you'll get no percent off and we will chuck you off the nearest cliff.
She's getting more violent as we go. But she's not wrong. She's not wrong.
Yeah.
And once you have not been chucked off a cliff because you did things correctly,
Yeah. Do the right
You're
thing.
gonna go visit our friend Amber D. Lewis. Head to amberdlewis.com. You're gonna add 10 of everything to your cart. You're gonna use code FANGIRL10 to get 10% off of that 10 of everything, and then you have received an item for free. You're welcome.
Mathematics.
That's how math works. Yes.
And last but not least, you're going to go support this show husband. We are kind of fans around here.
Yeah, he's all right.
So you're going to go follow Searchers Believe on everything. That's his like paranormal investigation group with him and his partner. Then you're going to follow the Paranormal Mind on everything. That's their podcast. It's the 2 of them. They're on a little bit of a hiatus because of what we've been getting off the ground, but they are talking about recording more episodes hopefully very soon. And what we've been trying to get off the ground is Beacon TV. So it's a streaming platform for all of your paranormal paranormal horror and true crime content. They made a big announcement today for people who follow paranormal TV shows. They are reuniting Dave Schrader, Cindy Kaza, and Shane Pittman, who were on the Holzer Files together. They are reuniting for a new show soon. More on that later. People are very excited about that. We've got a paranormal investigating meets The Office type show. The show husband is actually, I can hear him on a meeting downstairs about acquiring some more content. He's filming next month for an exciting new show. Lots of things going on.
Yep.
So go follow Stream Beacon TV everywhere and then go to streambeacontv.com. And if you use code fangirl10, you'll get 10% off. You can get a monthly subscription. You can get an annual subscription, all of the things.
And also, you can get merch from Searchers.
Merch, Searchers merch. So if you go to searchersbelieve.com/shop, there's merch that was designed by yours truly. So if you use code fangirl10 there, you'll get 10% off as well. I think
It
there's
is
some.
spooky season, so
It's
the
spooky
perfect
season.
time.
This is when you need it. I'm actually doing a vendor event tomorrow from when we're recording. I'm doing an event tomorrow and Saturday by myself because both of the three that own Beacon, both of the local guys will be at separate events. So I was like, I'll do the one at home. So I have a Beacon sweatshirt to wear and I'm going to be out there. We have a friendly competition going on who can get the most subscribers this weekend. So
Love it.
Shane cheated though by announcing the reunion show this weekend. He's going to win now no matter what.
Rude.
Yeah.
How
He
dare.
thinks I haven't caught on to that, but I'm going to point that out.
That is fully cheating.
Yeah, cheating.
Fully. What a cheater. Cheater, pumpkin eater.
Always. I would have said cheater, booger eater, but you're nicer than me. So support the show husband everywhere, all the time.
And that
was our 100th episode
of
the Incoherent
Fangirl.
Fangirl.
Thank y'all so much for listening. Thank y'all for
We
sticking
wouldn't
with
be
us.
on this ride without like people listening.
Yeah. Thank y'all so much. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Whether this is your first episode or your 100th episode, we love you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We love you.
Bye.
We are sponsored by our friends at Here Comes the Nerd. Pins, stickers, magnets, and more. Here Comes the Nerd has happy art for all fandom-loving hearts. New customers can use coupon code FANGIRL during checkout for 20% off their first order at herecomesthenerd.com. Coupon applies to ready-to-ship items only.